Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new paper crafting video. Today I am going to be customizing my cards, doing some fun things with alcohol markers, and I will be making two shaker cards. One is a see-through shaker, but I'm going to start out these cards today with my card making sketchbook from Trinity Stamps. I like to use this book to capture ideas that I might want to use again, and also to capture information that I might need, like for making my videos or to refer back to for any other reason. So here is the sketchbook, and you can see I am drawing out what I want to make, taking notes, and writing my thoughts down. Now I've already made 3 cards with this sketch in a previous video, which I will have linked for you at the end of this video and in this description box if you missed it. But today we're going to make 2 more, doing shaker cards with this sketch and customizing them with alcohol markers. I'm starting out with this lovely pattern paper. This is the Irresistible Delights pattern paper from Not Too Shabby. It was in their Paper Pad of the Month Club for July. Here you can see the pattern paper that I'm using. I'm going to start out with the floral side, and I'm cutting the circle from my sketch out of the middle of this piece. Then I took 2 circle dies, taped them together to make a frame to go around this. And this is going to be the window for my shaker card, so I need to back that with a window sheet. I just glued that in place, and now I'm going to work on the background of this card. So I'm taking the circle die that is my largest on my card front and tracing that onto a white piece of paper approximately in the center. I could have just traced the opening before I put the window sheet on. That would be easier. But I forgot, so improvise, right? Okay, so I'm going to use my Copic markers to draw and or color a lemon slice for the background of my shaker, because the theme of the ephemera that I chose is lemons, and I just love lemon slices. I love things lemon, so I thought it'd be really fun and maybe easy to try. Now, I am not by any means what I would consider a Copic coloring expert, so you might know more than me about using your Copics, and so if you do, like, go with that. But what I really did is took 3 different shades and started coloring out the slices using a triangle shape and then flicks. Now, a lemon slice doesn't really have like a lot of shading, but I just really felt like to bring this to life, I needed a little bit of shading there. One thing I did notice, and why this is so easy to do if you are a beginner at like creating your own art with Copics, is that a lemon slice, the triangles aren't perfect. They're not evenly spaced. They're very organic. So it's a really easy thing to color and sketch out if you've never done this before. And I have barely ever done this. So I just wanted to show you, like, it literally is that easy. So use the flicks, and really don't have to like color it in. You're just filling in those triangles with the flicks, and I found it very easy to do, and it turned out amazing. I did try to leave just a tiny bit of white space in there, and then I'm gonna go back in with a gel pen and add some white lines in there just to have more highlight. It makes it look almost a little bit wet, and I am loving how it turned out. I think it's just super cool. So I did the gel pen on all the different slices, and then it's ready to go. It's ready to be the background for my shaker. So first I needed to line my window on the back side with some foam tape, making sure all the edges touch so that none of these awesome shaker bits are going to escape. These are all from the Trinity Stamp Shop, these little clay bits that are actual lemon slices. I have these yellow confetti pieces, and then I also have some yellow shaker pop beads. So those are really going to help all the little shaker bits inside move around. It adds a nice sound to your shaker, and I just kind of like making my own mixes. So I pulled out what I had for my stash that I thought would work well. Okay, now it's time to add that lemon slice to the back. You saw I put glue on the back of my foam tape. That's so I could scoop my background around if I needed to, but I knew that it would fit in this window. So I put that on, pressed it in place, and there's my shaker. Now I am also using the Irresistible Delights ephemera kit that goes with this paper pad. It's like a add-on thing you can buy to go with the paper pad of the month. And I chose this lemon cake, and I pressed the whole thing into my Versamark pad. And then I'm embossing it with clear embossing powder. So I've got clear ink and clear powder. This is going to melt clear, obviously, and it's going to give it a shiny finish. I wanted it to look even more enameled with a thicker surface, so while that was still hot, I added more clear powder, but not ink, just the clear powder. It'll stick when that image is still hot. So if you do this quickly, you can really build up the layers. So I did one more layer here to make this really nice and thick and shiny, and I love the end result. So this is going to be like the little focal point of my card. Well, maybe the shaker's the focal point, but it's really pretty. So I'm going to put it here in the corner, just like on my sketch, and it's going to overlap that circle window just a little bit. And the next thing we need is a sentiment. So I'm pulling out Zest Wishes, which is a little stamp set from Trinity Stamps that stamps out the words "You're the Zest," and it has a die to cut them out, and it cuts out the words individually. So that made it easy for me to kind of have this sentiment follow the curve of my window, which I loved. This stamp set also has a lemon in it that you can put a face on, so it's really cute. Okay, so there is the front of my card. I'm going to stick this down to an A2 size card base, so that is 8.5 inches by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. It's a half sheet of cardstock. Really easy to do. So there is shaker card number 1. I wanted to dress up the inside of the card a little bit, so I had leftover pattern paper. I put that on the inside. I'm going to put another ephemera piece. I love that about ephemera. They work so good for little accents on the inside of your cards too, or envelopes. Love that. So this is like a slice of the cake, so I thought that'd be good for the inside. And then there is also a stamp set of the month that Not Too Shabby Shop does. This is the cupcake set that I used on my first 3 cards, but it has this great sentiment. Happy birthday, may it be filled with all your favorite things. So I am going to use that sentiment on the inside of my card today, but I wanted to show you how cute that stamp set is. I love it. So I stamped that in there with some black ink to finish off the inside of my card, and still plenty of space to write out a sentiment. Okay, we're going to move on to card number 2. We're like going to step things up a notch and make a see-through shaker window. This time I'm using the other paper pad, Cherry Sweets, from the paper pad of the month club from Not Too Shabby. You actually get 2 paper pads. These are the patterns I'm going to use today, but also in that paper pad is like a sheet of ephemera. It's not cut out, so you could use an electronic cutter, but I decided today that I was going to pull out my brand new scissors from Tim Holtz and try these out. Like, he was raving about them for fussy cutting, and I always could, you know, take my fussy cutting game up a notch, so I tried them, and yeah, I loved them for cutting this out. First of all, the paper that this is on is nice and thick, and those scissors are top notch. I actually cut out a bunch of things with them, and I rather enjoyed it, dare I say. All right, so one thing about this cupcake that I was not in love with is the fact that the cupcake is kind of a gray color. So I decided to make it chocolate, and I'm just coloring right on top of that ephemera with my Copic markers, using my markers to customize this to what I want it to be. And I think this chocolate cupcake looks super cute. But the idea of chocolate and cherries together made me take this one step further with my Copic markers. So I'm going to take W10, E49, and E59, which, by the way, I don't need the E59. I just need the first 2. So I'm going to color right on top of these cherries to make them look like they're dipped in chocolate, kind of like a chocolate covered strawberry. So this is my customization with alcohol markers for card number 2, and I love how this turned out. There are 4 sheets of this ephemera. So let's say I colored it and I didn't love it. I still had 3 other sheets, right? So why not give your idea a try? Now this looks pretty light, but I went over it a second time and then got the perfect look that I liked, because this paper has a little bit of a glossy finish to it, so it just needed one more layer to really bring it to life. I added some white gel pen highlights, and I even did the cherry on top of the cupcake. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. So I went to get out a brown piece of paper to start my card, and I found this in my card stash. It already has a circle cut from it. Even though it's off to the side a little bit, I decided to make it work for my sketch. So what I need to do is create a frame like I did before. So I found one circle die bigger than my opening on my card and one a little bit smaller. I'm going to cut my frame from this pattern paper, the one that is the red glitter. It's faux red glitter. It's not actually glitter, and it looks like it is. It's so good. All right, so all I need is to keep the frame, and that's going to go on the outside of my card. It's going to be the piece that I use to create my shaker window. Next, I'm taking a die that's almost as big as that outer die, and I'm die cutting 2 acetate windows. One I'm going to glue to the back of the ring, and then I'm going to take some foam strips and go all the way around the circle. And that is my shaker frame. Next, I'm going to take an anti-static powder tool and give it some love to those window sheets so my shaker bits don't escape, because this other piece of window sheet is actually the back of my shaker. So 2 window sheets back to back can be rather staticky. I am using some clay bits from Trinity Stamps that are sprinkles. So I'm going to do brown and red, and then I'm going to do some pink because there's lots of pink in my ephemera pieces, and these say XOXO, which I love. And then my shaker pop beads, I'm doing these pearlized white, and that is my shaker mix. I'm going to carefully remove the backing on my foam tape, and then I'll add on that second window sheet. Now I am going to use a little bit of glue just like I did before, so if I need to scoot anything around, I can. But this foam tape is actually pretty sticky, so I'm happy with that. You'll see there's a lot of like you know, of the anti-static powder in there. That will eventually die down with your shaker bits moving around. Okay, so I don't want to see this on the inside of my card, so I'm going to cut out a second frame and put it on the inside of my card, and that's going to make it look more clean and polished. This is a see-through, so you want it to look good from the front and from the inside. I'll cover up that opening and make sure that it's centered, and that is going to come into play in another way because I need something to glue this down to, right? So I'll put the glue on the back of the shaker so that it's right in line with that foam tape, and then glue it down to the opening. So now you're going to be able to see the shaker from the inside and the outside. But I needed to like zhuzh it up a little bit. So my other pattern paper that I picked was this polka dot with cherries. I cut that down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. It's going on the inside. So from the outside, you're not seeing just the brown. You're seeing that fun cherry background. All right. I was starting to lay out all my ephemera pieces to create my card, and I realized this brown card needed a little splatter, but I already had that shaker window there, so I decided to use this snowing mini background stamp from Altenew in white and just stamp that randomly where I could. And a lot of it's going to be covered up, but it does add that little something that I felt it needed. Now you might have noticed I have 3 cupcakes. I decided to really fill this card up. I love the cupcake so much, so I did 2 more because remember, it's from the paper pad and I had 4 sheets of it, so I still even have 1 cupcake left. Yay. I'm going to stack these all around my window, and some of them are going to overlap that shaker window just like on my sketch. So I used part foam square on the back and then part liquid glue, and I'll do that on this one as well. And you can see I did all of them with a chocolate cupcake and a chocolate covered cherry. That's, you know, you buy cupcakes, are usually like in a dozen, or when you make them, you don't just make one. So why not have a bunch of cupcakes on the front of this card? There was even a sentiment in that pattern paper that I cut out, wishing you a sweet birthday. So we got to put all the sweets on there, right? Yes. Okay, so I had some open space at the bottom of my card that I'm thinking about, but these cherries just didn't quite work there. So I put them on the inside, and then I stuck down this chocolate bar, which, by the way, is from the August box of the month from Not Too Shabby. That'll be out tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned because I'm super excited about that box. It is right up my alley, but it really fit on this card, so there's a little sneak peek for you. I die cut out a glittered foam heart, and then those pink hearts are from another piece of pattern paper from that kit. So I put those on there. I added some red hearts on the inside as well as an accent, and then brought back those XO clay bits and added them to the top of my stack of cookies to finish off this card. I just couldn't stop. It was so much fun. And then I think on the inside of this card, what I would do instead of just writing a sentiment, I would maybe add a gift card and write a note that I would fold up and put inside. I love that you can see the cherries through the window. So, or you could write on the back side of the card. Yeah, so let's bring out all the cards that I have made with my sketch. You can see how versatile it is. You can turn the circle into a heart. You can layer it up. You can make it a window. You can make it a shaker window. You can make it a see-through shaker window. So lots of fun with this little sketch, and I find this sketch is really helpful when you've kind of lost your mojo and you need like a jumping off point to get started making a card. I find a sketch very helpful. So there's my inspiration for you for shaker cards, for using your Copic markers maybe in a new way, and for shakers. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. And if you love shaker cards or you want to love shaker cards, check out my Facebook group, which is Shaker Card Addicts, and join us there. All right, thank you so much for stopping by. Here's some extra videos you can watch next if you would like, and you can subscribe to my channel if you liked today's video and would like more. I'll see you very soon on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!